Hey everyone, Ben here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do enjoy today's video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button because we're trying to grow on the platform, and turn on the notification bell to be notified of all uploads and live streams. And if you did like today's video, then don't forget to hit a like down below because it helps other people to find our videos, and don't forget to comment down below on any suggestions for content that you have, or comment about today's content. Let me know what you thought. Let's get into the video. Alright, so for my next deck profile on Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, I'm going to be looking at my Relinquished deck. So, Relinquished is an archetype that's never been meta and will never be meta, but it is a very fun deck to run. Of course, Relinquished being based upon the power of your opponent, using your opponent's power against them, so to speak. So don't forget, if you like this content and want to see more, don't forget to comment down below on any deck profiles you want to see. Don't forget to turn on notifications because I do live stream here on YouTube every day or almost every day, so it'd be great to see some of you guys in there. But let's jump in. So we are running 3 copies of GoldenEye's Idol. So once per turn, quick effects, you can activate this effect. Look at your opponent's hand. Also, this card's name becomes Thousand Eyes Idol until the end phase. If this card is banished or sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, equip that effect monster to one Eyes Restrict or Relinquished monster you control that cannot be normal summoned. While equipped by this effect, that monster gains attack equal to the attack of the equipped monster. You can only use the effect of GoldenEye's Idol once per turn. So this card, 0 attack, 0 defense, so it's not really used for much of anything except this card can become Thousand Eyes Idol, which means you can use polymerization on it in order to form Thousand Eyes Restrict. It can also be used for the summon of Millennium Eyes Restrict as well, plus it also allows you to look at your opponent's hand, so you get to see what they're running, which is super nice actually. There have been many an instance where I've actually just summoned this for that effect, and it's actually helped me quite a lot. 3 copies of Maxi. Maxi is ridiculous in the current meta. It's insane. Like, Maxi is ridiculous. Basically, you discard this from your hand during either your turn or your opponent's turn, and every time in that turn that your opponent special summons, you get to draw a card. It can lead to some ridiculous draw power, especially in the current meta. 3 copies of Millennium Eyes Illusionist. So quick effect, you can discard this card, then target one effect monster your opponent controls, equip that target to an Eyes Restrict Fusion monster or Relinquished you control, as if it were equipped by that monster's effect. If an Eyes Restrict Fusion monster or Relinquished is special summoned, add this card from your graveyard to your hand. This is not optional. You can only use the effect of Millennium Eyes Illusionist once per turn. So basically, kind of like GoldenEye's Idol, you get to use this, pop it, in order to just instantly get an effect monster that your opponent controls and equip it to one of your Relinquished or Eyes Restrict Fusion monsters. Again, allowing you to go for more effects. So like, say for example, you know, you have this, and then Millennium Eyes Illusionist's effect all in one turn. That means you could equip 3 effect monsters your opponent controls in that turn. Like, really insane. 3 copies of Sangan. So of course, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add 1 monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, but you cannot activate cards or effects of cards with that name for the rest of this turn. So this card basically affects every monster in the deck, because all of them have lower than that amount of attack points. So you can use it to pull pretty much any of the monsters in the deck. I often find that pulling out this is probably your best play, but there are other plays as well. If you need to get a Relinquished, or if you need to grab Millennium Eyes or Golden Eyes, you can do so. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Of course, everyone knows what this is. It's a hand trap, it's negations. Again, really useful in this deck. I do find that it's a lot more useful than you think it would be in a deck like this, because if someone's trying to cancel your play, you can just play this and negate them. 3 copies of Illusionist Faceless Magician. This card is a necessity. If a face-up Eyes Restrict Fusion monster or Relinquished you control is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can special summon this card from the graveyard if it was there when that monster was destroyed, or hand even if not. This card is sent from if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Eyes Restrict Fusion monster or Relinquished in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use the effect of Illusionist Faceless Magician once per turn. So, say for example, if this is on your field and you use it to ritual summon into Relinquished, so it goes to the graveyard. And then in the next turn, if your opponent attacks you, destroys your Relinquished, then this will immediately resummon in its place from the graveyard. And then in that same turn, if this goes, you can bring back Relinquished again. So it gives you a nice little cycle where you can keep bringing the other one back. My phone was going off. So it's actually really cool. And of course, 3 copies of Relinquished, which is the main monster of the deck. It's a Relinquished deck. You have to run Relinquished. You can ritual summon this card with Black Illusion Ritual once per turn. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls. Equip that target to this card, max 1. This card's attack and defense become equal to that equipped monster's. If this card would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. While equipped with that monster, any battle damage you take from battles involving this card inflicts equal effect damage to your opponent. So if you take a Blue Eyes White Dragon, this Relinquished will get 3000 attack, 2500 defense, and if your opponent attacks over you, he will take the exact same damage that you do. Meaning it actually counts as burn damage, which is kind of cool. And honestly, really good big brain plays you can make with that. Just to, if your life points are higher than your opponent's, you can win duels with it. We're running 1 copy of Raigeki, of course, just to destroy monsters. I considered Lightning Storm, but then the problem with Lightning Storm is it requires your field to be empty to activate it. And whilst it's good, I just recommend running Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster. Because, I mean, I know they're 2 separate cards, but at least you can get both effects out, not just one of them. So I definitely recommend running both of those. 1 copy of Foolish Burial to send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. You could easily use it to send that, which will then start popping its effect off, which is really cool. 1 copy of Instant Fusion, which will allow you to either summon Millenniumize or Thousand Eyes Restrict, because it has to be a level 4 or lower monster. Sorry, level 5 or lower monster. And that will allow you to instantly start, because once this disappears, if you have this in the graveyard, it will come back, and then you can start bringing back these. Really, really good big brain play. I would run this at 3 if you could, but unfortunately it's limited to 1. For good reason, but 3 copies of Pre-Preparation of Rites. Add 1 ritual spell card from your deck to your hand, and add 1 ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is mentioned on that ritual spell. You can only activate once per turn. You use this to grab both Relinquished and a Black Illusion Ritual. 1 copy of Foolish Burial Goods. I actually use this to drop this into the graveyard, because Relinquished Fusion has a secondary effect in the grave. So its normal effect is Fusion Summon 1, Eyes Restrict... Oh, I'll get to that one. I'll actually get to that when we get to it. Part of Extravagance, run 3 of them. At the start of your main phase, banish 3 or 6 random face down cards from your extra deck face down, draw 1 card. For every 3 cards banished. So I know that this card is a little bit risky to run, but I do find that running it is actually not that detrimental, especially if you already have had a Eyes Restrict Fusion monster in play. Like, if you've already had one of these in play, it's in the graveyard, and you've got this out, then you can basically just keep cycling between this and this. So it may seem like a bit of a detriment, but it's not really, unless you get incredibly unlucky and it instantly discards all of your fusions. I guess that's pretty bad, but that's never happened to me, so you could easily replace this, I guess, with Hand Destruction if you wanted, but that also affects your opponent, and that could be bad, so it's up to you. Either run 3 of this or 3 of Hand Destruction. 3 copies of the Black Illusion Ritual. Of course, this is the main ritual spell card used to summon Relinquished. 1 copy of Super Poly. Of course, the Relinquished monsters are all dark. And, of course, running into Dark Fusions. Like, the requirements for Millenniumize Restrict is literally Relinquished and 1 effect monster. So pretty much any monster your opponent controls you could use for its fusion. 3 copies of Relinquished Fusion, of course, being the main fusion card of the deck. So fusion summon 1 Eyes Restrict Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing materials from your hand field and or graveyard. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, equip that monster to a Eyes Restrict or a Relinquished monster, as if it was equipped by that monster's effect. Meaning, you can banish this from the graveyard and instantly equip a monster to Relinquished or to one of your fusions. A super powerful effect. And the final card of the main deck is Necrofusion. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from your graveyard face down, but it cannot attack this turn. So this is a great way to use your graveyard. If your opponent starts making you mill your deck to get it down, you can then use this to fusion summon. Alongside this as well. So that gives you 4 ways to fusion summon from the graveyard, meaning you could actually have pretty good power in the graveyard if you get forced to discard. Alright, moving into the extra deck, so we're running 3 copies of the 1000 Dies Restrict, so it requires Relinquished plus 1000 Dies Idle. Other monsters on the field cannot change their battle positions or attack. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, equip that target to this card, max 1. This card's attack and defense become equal to that equipped monster's. If this card would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. This card has saved my skin so many times in this deck. Like, the ability of other monsters on the field cannot change their battle positions or attack. Honestly, in certain situations where I've had to just stall in order to get something to help, this has helped me ridiculous amounts. It also made, like, the only way to cancel this ability out as well is to literally just cancel the ability to do a negate. So, like, if they play Skill Drain or something, that will cancel it. But honestly, the main fusion of the deck I use, it's so good. 2 copies of Millenniumize Restrict, Relinquish plus 1 effect monster. Once per turn, where your opponent activates a monster effect quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. Equip that target to this card you control. This card gains attack and defense equal to that equipped monster's. Monsters with the equipped monster's original name cannot attack, also their effects on the field and their activated effects are negated. Meaning if you, for example, for this take a, I don't know, a Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, then no longer will it be able to activate its effect if they summon another one. So, really good. 3 copies of Relinquished Anima. This is super easy to summon. It takes 1 level 1 monster except a token. And of course, level 1 monsters. The deck has quite a few of them. You can target 1 face-up monster this card points to, equip that face-up monster to this card, max 1. You can only use this effect of Relinquished Anima once per turn. This card gains attack equal to that equipped monsters. So basically just a free Relinquished you can summon. 1 copy of Code Talker, 2 effect monsters, gains 500 attack for each monster this card points to, cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects while this card points to a monster. So, not a bad link, although this is mainly here. The rest of these links are mainly here for fodder, to be used with, Pot of Extravagance. 1 copy of I can never pronounce this. Lanfurunkus? Nightmare Phoenix. This one here is here for another reason, 2 monsters with different names. This card is linked to someone, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 spell/trap your opponent controls, destroy it. So, this is just a clean way to pop off of 1 back row card if you need to. 2 copies of Decode Talker. So it takes 2 effect monsters, or 2 plus effect monsters. It's 500 attack for each monster it points to. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control, quick effect, you contribute 1 monster this card points to get the activation if you destroy it. I have summoned this a few times, and it has helped a few times to cancel out effects. And it's not too hard to summon in this deck either. And 2 copies of Gaia Saber the Lightning, so 2 plus monsters. It's a 2600 point beat stick. Again, these are here, these 4 monsters here are in here literally just because they're beat sticks. Like, you can summon these to pop over a few weaker monsters. But let me know what you think of this deck in the comments down below. Like I said, don't forget to turn on the notification bell to be notified of all uploads and live streams, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching today's video. Above is a preview of the previous upload, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe please, because we're trying to grow on the platform. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell to be notified of all uploads and live streams. And if you liked the video, why not leave it a like? It really does help other people to find my videos, and don't forget to comment down below on any content you want to see or what you thought about this video specifically. Let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one.